So what is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Currently in GTA 5 Online right now. Hopefully no one kills me. I'm going to quickly turn away from those guys right now because shit is about to go down from there. But currently once again doing another live commentary today. I'm thinking about doing a few more live commentaries here and there just to mix things up now and again on the channel. And I wanted to live comment today because there's been a lot of talk recently about the Untitled Games Part 2 update. More specifically, how much will the cars and vehicles cost? Because as you all know, with the Untitled Games Part 1 update, they cost a lot of money. And hopefully I can land this here real quick. Yep, I'm currently on my Western Sovereign. If you guys didn't know, the Independence Day DLC has returned and all of the vehicles and items alongside it. But anyway, getting into the main portion of the video, and I'm in a bad place here actually. Let me quickly move away from this area. So we made it into a different area. I had a few vehicles blown up, all how literally broke loose, but we do have the vehicle websites up here, and how we're going to do this is we're going to kind of compare it to the Untitled Games Part 1 update vehicles and Rockstar's track record again of bringing in DLC vehicles and the cost behind them. So for instance, we have the Pegasi Osiris, and we'll compare that for the Progen T20. Same thing with the Benefactor Stallion GT, for the Inverto Coquette Classic, I believe, or the Inverto Coquette Blackfin, sorry. And so on and so forth with the Albany Virgo, of course the Vapid Chino, and things along those lines, as well as kind of like personal opinion as well thrown in to kind of give you guys a bit of a price range medium of what you can expect to be paying for these items in general. So starting off, we have the Progen T20, the brand new supercar coming with the Untitled Games Part 2 update, and this vehicle is going to be absolutely awesome. The big question about this is, will it be the Osiris and the Zentorno killer? Will it be faster than them? Will it better perform than them? And that is what we are going to be testing out come the day of the DLC. Now, in terms of price range, if you go ahead and take a look here at the Pegasi Osiris, costing a whopping $1.95 million, which is a pretty big price to pay for a supercar, especially because a lot of people were complaining about this. You know, it costs a lot of money. It's not even better than the Zentorno. It kind of matches up performance-wise to the Zentorno. It definitely gives it a run for its money. And the Zentorno and the Pegasi Osiris, in my opinion, are kind of on the same level in terms of performance and speed and stuff like that. But there's a huge price difference. You know, Pegasi Osiris costing $1.95 million, while the Zentorno costs only $725,000. And another vehicle that a lot of people do like to compare to the Pegasi Osiris or the Progen T20, sorry, or the Progen T20, is the Turismo R, as you can see here as well by the gameplay in the background, costing even less at $500,000. So if this wasn't the Untitled Games Part 2 update and it was just a completely different update, I would probably guess around the $750,000 mark to the $1 million mark. But because this is the Untitled Games Part 1 and, you know, the sheer fact that the Pegasi Osiris cost $1.95 million, I'm going to probably put this at around 1.75 to like the 2 million or 2.2 million mark for the Progen T20. It kind of makes sense. You know, they want you to spend a lot of money for this DLC, hence the Untitled Games name for it. And, you know, that price range medium kind of makes sense because of how much the Pegasi Osiris cost as well. So I'd expect to be spending around 1.75 million to around the 2.0 or 2.2 million mark for the Progen T20. As for the next vehicle on the list, we have the Inverto Coquette Blackfin, the sports classic variant of the Untitled Games Part 2 update. And what's quite funny about this is the Untitled Games Part 2 is kind of following in the same footsteps as the Untitled Games Part 1, minus a few vehicles like the Brawler and the Vindicator. We have, you know, the supercar from the Untitled Games Part 1, we have a supercar in the Untitled Games Part 2, we have a sports classic in IGG Part 1, we have a, you know, sports classic once again in IGG Part 2. Same thing for the Albany Virgo. For Part 2 we have instead the Vapid Chino. So kind of similar vehicles there, but once again for the Inverto Coquette Blackfin, being a sports classic, you can expect it to cost a lot of money in general. Sports classic tend to cost a lot of money. If you go ahead and take a look here at the Benefactor Stallion GT, which a lot of people are comparing it to, $975,000 for that. Of course, we also have as well the Inverto Coquette Classic, costing a lot less, being the $665,000 mark, and the hardtop version costing the same there as well. Now, if I had to put a price range on this vehicle, considering it is a sports classic and considering the Benefactor Stallion GT costs $975,000, I'm going to guess anywhere between $750,000 or $800,000 all the way up to the $1 million mark, just based on the fact that it's, you know, Untitled Games and the sheer fact that it is a sports classic car. Now for the next vehicle up, we have the Vapid Chino. Now the Albany Virgo from Untitled Games Part 1 is pretty much from the same family of vehicles, definitely looking awesome there as well. But this costs a whole $195,000, and the great thing about these vehicles is they have a lot of customization options on them, especially the Vapid Chino. It has a very special customization option on it, with being the Los Santos Customs plaque. which was stated in the description. And if you actually zoom right into the image, you can also see this plaque in action as well. So comparing this to the Albany Virgo, $195,000, if you go ahead and take a look here as well at the Vapid Blade, which kind of comes under the same category, I guess you could say, which I think the Vapid Blade actually costs $160,000, which is not too far off the same price range, once again, you know, around $160,000 to $190,000. So for that vehicle, of course, being the Vapid Chino, I'd probably price it around $200,000 to $100,000, and once again, around the same price mark as the Albany Virgo, just based on the fact, once again, that it is Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2, and it is going to be one of those vehicles that can be highly customized. Next up on the list, we have the Dinka Vindicator, the very bulky motorcycle of the Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2 update, and the description pretty much reads for it, where luxury meets raw power, and the keyword there being luxury, meaning that it could be a very pricey motorcycle. A lot of people are comparing it to the Shih Tzu Hakucho. I don't even have to say that right, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong in terms of price range, and some other people were kind of comparing it as well to the Principe Electro being $750,000. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the price of $750,000. If I had to guess a price range for this, based on the Shih Tzu Hakucho costing, you know, $82,000, I would probably price this Vindicator anywhere between $100,000 to $200,000. That is the price range that I would think that vehicle is going to cost, unless it has a very special feature like the Principe Electro has, being that kind of NOS effect that it does have. Then I don't think it's going to cost anywhere near that much, you know, once again being around the $100,000 to $200,000 price range mark. For the next vehicle on the list, we have the absolute tank of a vehicle known as the Coil of Brawler, one of the only other vehicles within it, the coil manufacturer, and this thing is an absolute animal. Now, there's nothing really to compare this to. This is like a very unique type of vehicle. We haven't seen anything really like this within the world of Grand Theft Auto. I've seen a few people comparing the price tags to the Dubster, which is of course, you know, as you all know, that was a DLC vehicle included, which I think cost around $295,000. And you know, this one, we don't currently know what to compare this to, so I'm going to jump on a limb here. I think this is going to cost anywhere between like $400,000 to $500,000, just based on the type of vehicle that it is. You know, it's going to be built for any terrain, similar to monster trucks can go, you know, on up and down mountains and stuff like this vehicle. And I'm going to put it around the same price as the monster trucks already in GTA 5, anywhere between $400,000 to $500,000. For the final vehicle today, we have the Lampadati Toro, a vehicle that actually quite surprised me with this DLC, considering it is a boat being introduced, and typically in GTA 5, not many people really use boats in the online mode, so the fact that they're bringing in a boat, I don't really see the point in it too much. But of course, the only other time that they brought in a boat was the heist update with the dinghy, and also the beach bum update with the speeder boat costing $325,000. In fact, scrapped out all of the boats in this game for some odd reason cost a hell of a lot of money, you know, within the world of Grand Theft Auto Online, which you don't really understand. Once again, you don't really typically see too many people using boats in general. So once again, with the Lampadati Toro, I believe the maker of Lampadati, or the in real life version of Lampadati, is based around Maserati, and the whole theme of the boat is a very luxurious or luxury boat. I'm going to guess it's going to be quite a bit more than the speeder boat from the Beach Bum update, costing anywhere between $400,000 all the way up until $500,000 mark range for this boat. So that is the price range I'm going to be going for on the boat, and I think that pretty much wraps it up for the vehicles that I have covered now in this video. So I guess around in total, if it was going to include like you know, weapons and clothing as well, you're going to be looking at around at least $5 million, all the way up into around $10 or $9 million. I do presume that you are going to be spending. And the good thing about this as well is it doesn't seem like there's anything costing over $10 million in this DLC. As you will know, the infamous 10 million golden Luxor that was introduced in Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 was a little bit overpriced. When I say a little bit, I mean a hell of a lot overpriced. So I'm glad that nothing really seems to be, you know, from stuff that we know so far, and of course the way these vehicles are, it doesn't seem like they're going to be that pricey, or that to anywhere near that extent at least anyway. So with that being said, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this video today. If you guys did enjoy, did find this helpful, be sure to leave a like on the video. Your support, of course, is always greatly appreciated on the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new around, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow with 2 brand new videos.